Hi everyone and welcome back to a video from me, Danny the barrister. Now if you're new here, my name is Danny. I am an aspiring barrister and I have 2 years left of my practical and educational components before I reach that point of becoming a barrister or lawyer. So here are my videos on journey to the bar. Now in considering full-time and part-time study, there's a lot to think about and there's a lot of pros and cons to both. So this video is going to be split into 3 parts. The first part of this video will be weighing up the pros and cons of part-time study. A pro to studying part-time is that you can work alongside your study. Now this can be so beneficial if you end up in a job role that is similar or in the same profession that you want to working or you are studying towards. Not only does this give you the opportunity to add that knowledge that you're learning into practical experience and practical activities that actually matter and have genuine consequences, it also means that you're able to build connections and network with people within that profession. And I've always thought that working in a profession whilst you're gaining that knowledge gives you more confidence in practicing those skills once you finish your studies, because you would have been doing it as you go. And it also means that when it comes to examinations, you have such a grounded knowledge because you've done it before. So that's something that is a real benefit and real pro of studying part-time, because you can work along the side of it. Another pro to working part-time is finance. As I've just explained, you have the opportunity to work alongside your studies. You can potentially get increased income that can help you throughout your studying journey and beyond. So that is a really major factor as to why I even personally considered studying part-time, because I knew that if I'd worked full-time or worked part-time, it means that I will be gaining income. And I really stress this as a real pro of studying part-time, because it is a consideration if you are wanting to be a barrister, especially to consider what financial implications it will take for you to study full-time or part-time. A lot of the bar studies aren't funded by the government, and not everybody's able to gain a scholarship, so it is important to consider whether studying part-time and working alongside it would allow you to achieve your goal in getting your dream career. Even if you're not working in a job role that is in that profession, you will still benefit from being a working person if you are working alongside your studies. That means you have skills on how to balance your time, how to reach expectations, both your job and the expectations of your university. You can get a real good round of skill sets that you can really show on your CVs and future applications, and you'll be exposed to what it is to be in a workplace that many and some people might not have been exposed to if they haven't worked so far and had just studied. So you really do get the opportunity to be in a practical environment and have real life experience. Another benefit of studying part-time is that your studying and your learning is spaced out over a longer period of time. Now this can be so beneficial if you're someone that works a bit slower, likes to take their time to understand concepts, and really wants to possibly delve into whatever area they're interested in and they're studying in. It also gives you the opportunity to relieve some stresses that you may have felt in studying the course in 1 year or 3 years. You have a bit more time and less pressure and less stress associated with doing exams really quickly. And that moves me on to my next point. Your exams may be spaced out. Now this definitely depends on what type of further education or educational degree you are taking, but most of the time I suspect that your exams would be spread across a longer period of time to allow for the fact that you are not studying full-time. that can also again mean that you have less pressure and less stress and more time to concentrate on your exams and to make sure that you are thoroughly understanding concepts and ideas, basis of what you are learning. And that's something really important to consider if you're someone that struggles with exam anxiety, that really struggles with the pressure of doing a course in a year or 3 years. Possibly studying part-time could be a really good way to ease yourself into the exams when they come. Now, of course, we have to consider the cons of part-time study. Now, a big one is that, yes, you have more time to study and more time to prepare for your exams, but that means you are committing your life to a longer period of time of studying. So instead of doing a 3-year degree, now you're committing to 6 years of doing your degree. Instead of committing to a 1-year postgraduate diploma, you are now committing to 2 years of doing that postgraduate diploma. So that means you have to commit more time and make more sacrifices in how soon you get to the end goal of your dream career or by studying part-time. And for many people, that is something that they would not mind, especially if they look at the pros. So it's important to weigh up what pros and cons that apply to you and see whether what side weighs the most. Still continuing with this idea that if you are studying part-time and working full-time or part-time, you then have to balance the expectations of both roles, and that in itself can be a lot to handle and a lot of expectations to take on. Especially if you're taking a postgraduate degree that requires a lot of attention and a lot of extra activities outside of that. And if you're doing an LLM, BPc for example, you may have a dissertation or extra hours of tutoring or even pro bono work to do after your allocated study hours and teaching hours. It can be a lot to still maintain the expectations required of you by your job. So that's something to consider. Although it is a pro of part-time study that it's a longer period of time, so you may have less exam stress and less pressure, it's still a fact that those exams need to be taken and those assessments will come by. And there is essentially no guarantee that you still won't feel the pressure or stress once those exams and assessment dates come. So part-time study, in my opinion, doesn't completely alleviate the feeling of pressure or stress associated to doing exams and assessments. Thank you so much for watching this video on the pros and cons to part-time study. I hope this has given you some insight and some food for thought. It definitely is the things that I thought about when I was considering whether to work full-time and study part-time. Make sure to watch my other videos on my channel on the pros and cons to full-time study and the similarities between part-time and full-time studying. Until then, I'll see you in my next one. See you later. Bye!